Well, the earliest members of Petworth, we had everything you wanted in the community. We had a drugstore at corner of Upshur and Georgia was the Petworth Pharmacy, and was a doctor upstairs over the pharmacy. And they had hardware stores in the block, a bakery. They had Highs on the corner of 8th and Upshur, which was owned by the Brown family who lived at corner of 8th and Barnum. And the neighborhood had changed because we had furniture stores where the Mamie Reed school is now. Houses and department stores was up there. We had Sloan's furniture store was up there. We had a department store up there, and they tore the houses down and the business in order to have Clark Elementary School. But since Clark Elementary School, now we have Mamie School up there now.
And do you remember what were your neighbors like, and how did?
Well, and when I moved in this house in 1949, there was only two black families in the block. Mrs. Wynn, who lived at 711 Barnum Street, and Mrs. Gibbs, who lived at 732 Barnum Street. We went to work one morning, and we came home, and everybody white had moved out the block the exact same day.
Wow. And when was that?
That must have been, if I moved here in 49, it must have been in 50. It wasn't long before we wasn't here long before they decided to move.
And who moved in?
Well, the black people. Only one white person stayed. That was Mr. Murphy. He lived at 749, and he had been in his house since 1926. And he said he bought his house for $500. And he was an attorney, and he said back in those days, in 1926, his note was $10 a month. He said it was hard for him to pay the note on the house at $10 a month because it was during the Depression time, he said. He had a long story to tell. It was very interesting. I'm sorry he passed on because he could have really told you what it was like, because he could tell you about Hoover and when people was trying to make a living selling pencils for a penny.
Wow, that's amazing. So, your kids, you said, went to school, and they went to private school. What were you doing while they were at school?
I was working.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of work were you doing?
I started off working in general accounting office, and then later I went to work for district government as a social worker, and I retired with 31 years as a social worker.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. What are some of your favorite memories of those early years?
Some of what?
Your favorite memories of those early years?
Well, there was a lot of prejudice, and there was a lot of things you could do and you could not do. I was the first black American Red Cross gray lady to wear the veil. As you must remember, back in those days, Red Cross was very prejudiced, and they didn't want me to wear the veil, but I took the course, and I passed the course for gray lady, but then they wanted me to be first aid, but I didn't want to be a first aid. I wanted to be a gray lady, so eventually they had to give me, endorse me as a gray lady, and I was the first black to wear the American Red Cross gray lady veil. That's when they had the Red Cross up here and the veil hanging down the back.
That's tremendous. And so your kids, must have been teenagers by the 1960s.
Hmm.
And had things changed by the 1960s?
Oh yes, a lot of things have changed since 1960. Uh, I would say they've changed for the better because things are much different from what they used to be years ago. Because they could go to the movies, and there was a movie close by, but they couldn't go when we first moved up here. They had to go over northeast to the movies. But after the 60s, they could go anywhere.
Mm. And so by the 60s, things had opened
In
up.
fact, when I came here from Atlanta, the only difference I saw as far as races was concerned, I could sit on the streetcar and the bus anywhere I wanted in Washington, D.C., where in Atlanta, we sit in the back of the bus, or streetcar. But that was the only difference I saw when I first came here in 1944.
Were there segregated restaurants in the neighborhood? When you first arrived, were the restaurants segregated?
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the restaurants were segregated for a long time, all over the city.
Okay, and in Petworth too.
Mhm.
So you couldn't go to a restaurant that was an all-white
no.
restaurant. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And downtown, you couldn't eat downtown either. I can remember there was at the corner of 7th and E, there was a 5 and 10 cent store there. We couldn't sit down and eat, but they had a little corner where you could stand and buy a hot dog and eat right there, but you had to stand and eat. There was no place where you could sit down and eat.
Do you remember any restaurants in the neighborhood that that you were able to go to that
Billy Simpson had a restaurant on Georgia Avenue, and we were able to go to Billy Simpson because Billy Simpson was black, so we could able to go to his restaurant.
So that's where people would go?
That's where the black folks would
Yeah.
go. And then eventually the whites started going there.
Hmm.